All right, let's jump right into this explainer and crack open one of history's ultimate cold cases, the true identity of the Nephilim. We're looking at a puzzle that has completely captivated scholars, theologians, and historians for millennia. We're talking about ancient beings described as having extraordinary size, strength, and status. And yet their actual origins, totally shrouded in mystery.
It all starts right here, with this one, notoriously ambiguous passage from the book of Genesis, written just before the epic story of Noah's Ark. The text casually drops this massive bombshell about the quote-unquote sons of God mingling with the daughters of men.
Which naturally brings us to our core mystery. Who exactly were these guys? Were they literal, towering giants wandering the ancient Near East? Were they the terrifying hybrid offspring of fallen angels? Or, were they just really intense ancient warlords whose reputations got wildly exaggerated over time?
Section 1. Decoding the clues, the etymology breakdown.
Okay, so to solve an ancient text, we really have to look at the words themselves. And it's wild how a single translation choice completely changed history here. The original Hebrew root NPL simply means to fall, or those who cause others to fall in battle. But when ancient Greek translators tackled this, they rendered it as gigantes. And boom, just like that, they instantly injected the idea of literal physical giants into the whole mythos.
The problem we run into is that the core text is basically a linguistic dead end. Because it's just so brief and ambiguous, history has essentially provided us with a few prime suspects to try and explain who they really were.
Section 2. Suspect 1. The Fallen Angels.
Let's look at our first major theory. This one largely comes from Second Temple period texts, like the Book of Enoch, and it paints this terrifying, hyper-supernatural picture. These texts introduce us to the Watchers. They were a rebel sect of heavenly beings who literally looked down at humanity, lusted after human women, and decided to just completely shatter cosmic laws to be with them. The cinematic drama of this theory is just off the charts. Led by a high-ranking angel named Samyaza, 200 of these beings descended onto Mount Hermon and swore a binding blood oath to commit this deed together. And the result of that unholy union? A race of monstrous hybrid offspring, the Nephilim. Now, how monstrous are we talking? Well, some translations of the Book of Enoch famously claimed these beings were 300 cubits tall. To put that into perspective, that is an absolutely staggering 450 feet. That's like a 40-story skyscraper. But actually, scratch that. Modern scholars point out this massive height was very likely just an Ethiopian translation error. Earlier texts suggest it was actually talking about 3 distinct races of giants, not beings as tall as skyscrapers.
Section 3. Suspect 2. Human bloodlines. As totally fascinating as that angel hybrid theory is, early Orthodox thinkers like St. Augustine absolutely hated it. They gave us our second suspect, which is a beautifully simple theory that removes the supernatural element entirely. It basically argues that the sons of God were just righteous humans from Seth's lineage, and they corrupted themselves by marrying Cain's unrighteous descendants. So no fallen angels, just humans abandoning their spiritual focus for earthly desires.
Modern secular scholars take this grounded view even further. They suggest the Nephilim were just normal, elite human warriors from pre-Israelite Canaan. Think about it. Ancient Israelites, terrified by the sheer size of the Canaanite cities and their heavily armed defenders, likely just exaggerated their stature. They used the legendary term Nephilim as a psychological trope to describe their terrifying enemies. So, no magic or divine parentage required for this one.
Section 4. False leads, giant bones, and hoaxes.
Despite those highly logical, earthly theories, people wanted so badly to find physical proof of Nephilim giants that they fell for some pretty hilarious false leads. We're talking mistaking mammoth bones in Switzerland for a 19-foot giant in 1577, or in 1705 claiming mastodon teeth from New York belonged to Nephilim who drowned in Noah's flood. We even reached peak absurdity in 1869 with the Cardiff Giant, a 10-foot stone man literally carved and buried in the ground just to fool eager believers. History is just completely littered with these kinds of embarrassing attempts to find physical proof.
Section 5. The Legacy, the Modern Mythos.
So yeah, the giant bones were totally fake. But the cultural footprint of the Nephilim? It's undeniably massive and completely ingrained in our media today. I mean, just look at how they've been endlessly reimagined. They're the 4 horsemen in the Darksiders games, alien Skyfallers in the X-Files, old gods in Magic the Gathering,
And they're all over YA literature like the Shadowhunter Chronicles and even the new Indiana Jones game.
Which leaves us with this final thought. Whether they were just a linguistic mistranslation of ancient warriors, a mythic allegory about human corruption, or something far more monstrous and supernatural, what does our unending obsession with the Nephilim really say about us? I think it reveals our deep, built-in craving to solve the unknown. It's exactly why this ancient, ambiguous cold case continues to captivate our imaginations thousands of years later. Keep questioning, keep digging, and we'll catch you in the next explainer.